Manny, you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and like I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Prior to after, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
And shit, it was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao.
Fighters are straight up scared of Manny Pacquiao's comeback. Even at 46, he moves like he's still 26. Sean Porter saw Manny train and fight Barrios, and he didn't hesitate to say, Pacquiao's still got it. His speed, footwork, and energy haven't slowed down. The real fear? That the legendary Pac-Man never actually declined, and he might still be able to school today's so-called elite fighters.
What do you think about the overall matchup?
Everything, man. I watched him train like last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in. He's still him, Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man. The last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who once fought Pacquiao when both were at their best, gives a bold take. He says there's something about Manny that just isn't normal. While most fighters get slower with age, Pacquiao is still confusing and beating younger guys. Algieri says he's one of the hardest fighters to get ready for: unpredictable, super quick, explosive, and non-stop. He points out that age doesn't matter with Pacquiao, because no one can copy his style in camp. For Algieri, this comeback isn't just real, it's dangerous for anyone who dares to face him.
Prior to after, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
In his fight against Mario Barrios, Pacquiao stunned everyone by showing he still fights like the old Pac-Man. At 46, people expected a worn-out legend chasing memories. Instead, he came with sharp footwork, fast combos, and smart angles. Everything that once made him a killer in the ring. What shocked fans even more was how close the rounds were. Even the ones he didn't win, on paper, were wars. His timing, control, and stamina were still there. Barrios, the younger fighter, was supposed to dominate, but most of the time, he was just reacting. The truth? Pacquiao wasn't there to just show up. He came to win, and he still can.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stole them on the judges' cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy. And he put a special performance. I never saw calves on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches, and they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean, and they definitely weren't landing with real power. They really weren't.
Social media star and fighter Salt Papi didn't hold back when talking about a possible Mayweather versus Pacquiao rematch. He says Manny's current shape proves he's still sharp, fit, and mentally ready for war. Unlike Mayweather, who's been coasting through exhibition fights, Salt Papi thinks a real fight today would look nothing like 2015. This time, Manny's pace, hunger, and pressure could overwhelm Floyd's aging reflexes. While Mayweather's undefeated record looks clean on paper, Salt Papi argues that Pacquiao's actual return to real competition makes him the more dangerous legend right now.
Have you spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken to him, no.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
You think he beats Tank, near prime Tank Davis?
We'll see. Styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Yeah, Manny is still active. So.
Okay.
Pacquiao's performance against Barrios reminded everyone why he's a once-in-a-generation fighter. Every time Barrios stepped in, Manny fired back with 2 or 3 lightning-fast shots. His pace, energy, and footwork made Barrios look hesitant and flat. What shocked fans and critics was how young Pacquiao still looked in the ring. He was always moving, finding angles, and opening up chances. Many people questioned the decision, saying Pacquiao's pressure and punch volume clearly beat Barrios' weak counter shots. This wasn't just a veteran looking decent. Pacquiao looked like he still belongs at the top of the sport.
That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye of Mario Barrios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. And when Barrios was throwing 1, Pacquiao was throwing 3. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao, but 2, just how great he was. 8 division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147. What are we talking about?
Some people think Manny's comeback isn't about passion, it's about money. With nothing left to prove and a legendary career already sealed, they say he should have stayed retired. As an 8-division champ and global superstar, Manny has done it all. So why return now? Critics say it's not about legacy, it's about cash. At his age, the risks are high, and boxing only gets more brutal with time. They argue no pride or love for the sport is enough to explain this move, unless there's a massive paycheck waiting for him in the end.
Manny Pacquiao crazy for coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what's brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth extension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That's shiny object syndrome. And you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you gotta fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptom and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You want to train, you want to run this other business, you want to do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control, laser focus. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is even. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute and go to that playlist.
Hit subscribe for more bold takes and boxing truth.